Yeah, exactly.
So how did you start yourself, like in terms of your childhood? Like, you know, how did things actually get to you to end up there?
So I lost my dad when I was 6 years old.
Yeah,
My mother, I was raised in projects.
yeah,
Majority of my life I was raised in projects. I was in a foster home, so I ended up being in a foster home for like 2 years of my life as a young
yeah,
kid. I grew a lot of resentment towards the structure in my home. I didn't realize the animosity that was created between me, my mother, and my sisters was a design that was created by governmental infrastructure.
yeah,
So the way that I wanted to live my life, I couldn't live it because I was surrounded by a gang of women. And so what ends up happening to a young man like myself, which doesn't happen to a lot of other young men, but with me, I started to know mannerisms, right? I peeped at my mannerisms as a kid growing up 7, 8, 9 years old. I had more feminine quality mannerisms correlated to my sisters, right? And when I look outside from the project windows and when I look outside from inside of my home and I see boys playing a certain way that I wasn't able to play because I didn't roughhouse with my sisters. I didn't get into the wrestling and scrapping back and forth with my little brothers. And so I started to say to myself, I feel different than the boys that I see outside. And so what they end up leading me to do was I was in search for masculinity, right? Because I feel like my feminine quality was just traits that I picked up from my mom,
yeah,
traits that
yeah,
I picked up from being around my sisters. I come from a situation to where when you stuck in the house with your siblings and you the only boy, so you got to play with your sister's toys. Your
yeah.
sisters
I
never
grew up the
dressing you
same
up in
as well, by
makeup.
the
They
way.
putting you up in dresses. Right.
Yeah,
You get what I'm saying? And so I felt detached from a young man. And so that forced me to go to the streets to try to find some type of bravo, you know what I'm saying? Some
yeah,
type
yeah,
of sense of, machoism, and I didn't understand the difference between toxic masculinity and being a masculine male. So when I jump around what I consider to be masculine young men, we
yeah,
picking up pistols. The first time I
yeah,
ever shot a pistol off was the first time that I felt like this immense piece of power, right? And nobody around me told me to not do that. They encouraged it and they endorsed it because they was just as lost as I was, you get what I'm saying? But when you got a group of teenage boys that are all searching for the same thing, we're searching for a father figure, we're searching for a role model. And the only thing that we have to correlate and educate us becomes gangster music. And so when you 16, 17 years old, or 13, 14, 15 years old, and you drinking alcohol with older men, you snorting cocaine with older men, you sleeping with women that are way older than you,
yeah,
then it's become, okay, like, boom, I done found my niche. And so now it's so deep. And when we're young-minded, we don't know how to discern the difference between a reality or getting caught up in a situation. We don't understand the true consequences that come from the actions that we make until we're incarcerated. And so in America, we got this thing now. It's a law that people, you're not clarified as you're not responsible to a degree for your behavior until you're the age of 25 years old,
yeah,
because they say that the mind, the mentality of a person doesn't fully mature until you're like 25 years old.
yeah,
So what that means for young people is that they make irrational decisions off of impulse. And as a male yourself, you know that when we grow up, we impulsive. We just respond to our emotions and we don't have control, and nor do we have anybody to discipline us with our emotions or our control.
yeah,
So that segued me into a lifestyle that I felt was, this is what I have to do. I mean, you shoot at enough people, you get to shooting at enough people, and in return they're shooting at you, and it's hard to cut that water supply off. That water's going to keep flowing,
yeah,
and regardless on how much you change, and I can make a lot of different changes in my life, but I done kicked up a lot of dirt and made a lot of enemies to where even when I come to peace with myself, I've offended too many people for me to just be rested in that space and be comfortable with nothing happening to me. And so that led me to going into prison. That became a whole different dynamic. And that's where my personality changed when I got incarcerated for the first time. You get what I'm saying?
yeah.
And I learned from that.
Yeah, I think what you're saying is actually true because, like myself, actually, I grew up in a house where I didn't. I think I have I have four sisters, and I'm actually the only boy. Look,
See,
like what you're saying right now, I'm actually can't 100% can't relate to it because, like, every time I was hanging out with my friend, I always feel some type of way. I always feel like I was less a man compared to them. Like even my mother sometimes she was forcing me to do things like go out, see your friend. I used to play just on my own because I didn't really know how to play with toys or like just like normal, boys things. I was like,
yeah,
even when I played with toys, I was playing just on my own. So I didn't really know how to socialize. So I grew up
yeah,
being really shy and kind of insecure at the same time as well. But the thing is, I understand what you're saying in terms of being exposed, because maybe the difference is maybe I wasn't around those people. Maybe I was fortunate to not be around those people. But if it happened to me to be around like the bad people, I was gonna turn up exactly the same as well. So
Mhm.
what do you think about the mother role? Do you think like as like mother today they can actually, because I know there's a lot of single mother like right now. Do you think like they can actually do something to kind of slow it down or to stop something? Maybe they should act a different way.
I believe,
Yeah,
uh, so if you take my mom, for example, I
yeah,
appreciate you too, Dorothy, and your patience. So
It's all it's all his arena. So yeah.
if
yeah,
you take my mother, for example, my
yeah,
mother, I grew up around, my mom was a very toxic woman.
yeah,
And I don't label her toxic as a bad thing. But when you're a single woman raising 4 kids, 3 daughters, and a boy, and you
yeah,
live in some of the most hostile places in America,
yeah,
you have to be protective of your kids. So I've seen my mom like smash, I done seen my mom smash men left and right. I done seen her physically assault people, I done seen my mom split people's faces open with bottles. I done seen my mom, bust people's heads open with cameras. I done seen my mom. My first introduction to a 12 gauge shotgun a sawed off pump was 8 years old, and it was my mom's shotgun that she got from a friend of hers.
yeah,
And I've heard her conversations on the phone saying that if I see your shadow
yeah,
come by my window, I'm gonna
yeah,
blow your head off. And so at 8 years old, I'm listening. And then when I got a little older at 13, 14, my mother, she used to be, she was about it woman. And so for her boyfriend, all of her boyfriend was military at the time, and so he had a lot of military friends who couldn't keep their weapons on base. So
yeah,
we used to keep them at the house, and so I got turned on to Tech 9s and 9mm. And when my mom was gone, I'm playing with the pistols. And so she showed me one thing, that I never underestimate women. I don't care what woman you are. My mother showed me to never underestimate a woman, because I've never seen my mom get beat up by anybody that she's ever fought, whether male or female. And so her growing up without the conditioning to raise children productively,
yeah,
I couldn't. Now that I'm older, I can't look back and be like, it's all your fault, mom. I
yeah,
have to
yeah, yeah,
understand the dynamics of, she didn't know how to do anything that she was doing as a teenage mother. And so now
yeah,
we're in a place to where I see a lot of mothers that do have opportunity. If it's a woman that has an opportunity, if it's a mother that's not on welfare for the most part, if it's a
yeah,
mother that's not caught up into the culture or the lifestyle, if
yeah,
it's a mother that doesn't tolerate that type of company, then
yeah,
it's easy to keep that situation away from your children to the most part. But then it's harder for her. That's why they got the acronym MAD. A woman is mad because she's become the mother and the dad. You
yeah,
get what I'm saying? So the acronym MAD, it makes sense, because I seen how stressful it was for my mother trying to raise me, because as a young boy in this culture, when you get a certain age
yeah,
and you lured and pulled to the streets, and your mother realizes she can't spank you no more
yeah,
because you're
yeah,
too big and you're too old for that. And when your mother don't know that you've been out here probably shooting people, shot a couple people, probably killed somebody, and don't nobody
yeah,
know about it, she can't control you because she doesn't understand the mechanics of your mentality. There's nobody that can come and condition you besides the people that you run with. And so my heart goes out to any mother that's trying, you know what I'm saying, to raise her young man in any one of these hostile environments. I believe that the only benefit that a mother would have in raising her son is for her to be in a community or to
yeah,
be in an environment that didn't have all of the toxicities around it. If you can keep your child in a space to where it's not contaminated with bad behavior, and if you know enough about the streets now, you can possibly educate your child. And if you can give them the things that they need, which most parents can't, they can't provide for their young boys, to give them the things. And a lot of and other thing too is, I blame a lot of parents now, because when we recognize what we've gone through and we realize as adult parents now in my generation, we
yeah,
should know better, because we have a full long experience of how we ended up because of the choices that we lacked or we made, or the opportunities that we lacked. And so the mothers that don't do nothing for themselves, it becomes an example for their children to see that, well, you're not doing nothing for yourself, so you can't expect me to do anything different. So we have to be the better examples. And so that's what I would say for any mother that's trying today. I would say, keep your children surrounded. If you got men coming around your son, make sure that they're great examples.
yeah,
If your homeboys is coming around you and your son, make sure that their homeboys or your boyfriends are great examples. You can't have a homeboy or a boyfriend that you hang with or you're dating that's from the streets and come to your house and he's gang banged out and he's putting pistols on the table, he's smoking weed in front of your kids, and he's got this elaborate conversation with his friends on the phone, because that lures and sucks a young person in, and the young men become infatuated by that culture. They become infatuated by that lifestyle. And once a young man see that his mom is attracted to men like this, then it makes him feel that he should be this type of person. And that becomes the divide and the break between that situation, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it does. It does. Yeah, it makes sense. But what about like the parent? Actually, you say there is two types of parent. There is the one that actually they actually raising the kids in that environment, like a bad environment. They have to be careful. What about the other one, who actually have opportunity to do things right, but maybe they don't have enough information. They don't know. Like myself today, I have two kids, but the thing is, they do the they're both boys, and my biggest worry today, just like for them to turn up like in a gang or anything like that. That's actually my biggest worry as a father. But the thing is, sometimes you don't know if you have to have those conversations with them, or if it's too early, or if maybe people think about changing the area, or because you can't control things that kids do at school, the things that they say.
Right, you can't.
So you know what I mean?
So okay.
Yeah.
So with that, it's important for us to recognize one important ingredient.
Yeah.
It's never too early to talk to our kids about any of this stuff.
Okay.
Society will tell us to, well, that's too early for the kid. No, it's not, because just like you said, kids are being recruited into gangs as early as 8, 9 years old from their middle schools. Kids is 11 and 12 years old being recruited into gangs by 18 and 19-year-old kids.
And
go on. Yeah, you can, of course you can say,
I think that you think that your kids don't know about it.
Yeah.
But I worked in a school, elementary school, for 4 or 5 years, and as much as you think your kids don't know about these things, whether it be gang culture, whether it be sex, whether it be drugs, they know about all this stuff. They're exposed to it in the media.
Yeah, media.
Yeah.
And they're exposed to it from other kids, and kids that, because they're dealing with a lot of stuff. They're dealing with the fact that their fathers are in prison. Their moms might be in prison. Their moms and dads are on drugs and going through these issues. So they know about this stuff. And they might not be talking about it at home. They're not bringing it up to their parents. They're not bringing it up to their older siblings or whatever, but they're bringing it up at school. So they know.
And they keep it amongst themselves.
Yeah.
And so for the parent who is doing things, and like what Dorothy just said, and like we're saying too as well at the same time, it's important. Media, psychologically, see, our government on any level, propaganda is real. The perpetuation of this culture of violence, and you keep pushing it through media, and you see in a violent movie, you see the most baddest person with the beautifulest woman, and he got all of the money. So a young man that comes from nothing is looking like, dang, if I start doing that, then I can get this. So it's hard for a hardworking parent to say, no, just live life, and you'll be able to take care of yourself. And the kids is like, nah, it's got to be more to that. So the alluring attraction of glamorized violence, structured in entertainment based through musical content. When we look at a society, psychological warfare is real. Media literacy is real. Exploitation of sexual content and verbiage is real. And the introduction of alcohol. Most of the artists that we listen to, they don't do drugs. They're not drinking alcohol. You see what I'm saying? And a lot of them don't go to strip clubs. A lot of them are married men that have wives and families at home. When it comes to producing music, they're delivering a whole different concept. And so the kids they're being deceived, and deception is real. So a parent, it's hard for any adult to compare and compete against entertainment when you got kids that are inspired by their friends. Because, so for an example, if you take one young person who comes from a structured home and you put him in a school where the majority of the kids come from toxic backgrounds, then that kid feels ostracized. He becomes picked on. And if he's going to get picked on, he'd rather be a part of the group so they don't keep picking on him. And so that sucks him in. And then you start to look at most parents that, if you raising your kids to be the right way, but when they get to school, their friends is threatening them. If you don't show up, if you don't show up over here, we're gonna beat you up. So a kid I'd rather be fussed at by my parent than beat up by these kids in the streets. And now it's to the point where I'd rather get yelled at by my mom, or even get a spanking by my mom, versus getting shot or killed by one of my friends because I didn't show up to a hood meeting, or I didn't show up to the party that they asked me to show up to. So the dynamics that kids are faced with right now today is like extremely, it's terrifying for the kids, that don't know how to be firm in their decisions and make a stance and say, I'm not going to rock with none of that. And so they get naturally sucked in. So it's hard for a parent to compete against media and entertainment.
True that. I think because what I'm trying to focus right now, I think is more like, do you think we should have more conversation with the kids, like show them like more have like self-confidence and to actually stand for their own choices? That's what you want to say. Like, if whatever people are actually gonna tell them outside, to be able to say no and to stand for it, to have that confidence.
And regardless of what they would do to you, because like if you look at Tacoma, you look in LA.
Yeah.
Like if you look at California, right? California is the hub for gangbanging. You know, that's where gang culture came from. You know, like Bloods and Crips. Now you can have Bloods and Crips anywhere that you want to have in the world, right?
Yeah.
But it originated from California. So if anybody's gonna do this gangbanging, they do it the best in California, which is the worst way to ever do it, right?
Yeah.
And so when you looking at a kid who is scary, so you ask yourself, have you ever been in a life or death situation on a regular basis? The average person would be like, no, I have not. So it's like, so how could you say what you should do in a situation when you know that just standing at the bus stop, somebody's gonna drive by and just start shooting at you? Or you watching your friends get killed at a party that night. And if you don't jump in the car to retaliate, then now you got enemies from the other side, and now you become enemies with your friends because they feel like you're not a part of what should be done about this situation. And so it's a very scary situation. So in a nutshell, you got to be a kid with some balls to say, I'm not getting down with none of this. And then as a young person that makes a decision, you got to be ready to die for your own positions in your own stance, because this is how the kids are acting. And when you look at most rappers now, like in my generation, the 80s and the 90s, when rap music was out, it was all entertainment. It was all entertainment. Now these kids are coming out doing rap music now. These kids are actually portraying the lifestyle to the degree of getting killed, getting shot left and right. Tupac Shakur and Notorious Big became the ultimate example of what diehard rappers are supposed to do. If you're going to talk about it, then be about it. If you're going to be about it, then you should get killed in this game. And that's the wrong message that these kids are being portrayed. But our entertainment industries is the one that condones and pushes that. But that's why it's bad.
Go on.
It's depending on the environment that you're living in.
Very much.
So the parents have to be mindful of the environment that the kid is in. So if you're in LA or if you're in New York or if you're in the suburbs, you have to, as a parent, you have to know what the kids are dealing with out there. So I think you have to be ahead of the game. You have to be ahead of when your kids are little, know your surroundings.
Know your surroundings.
Know what the surroundings are that you're bringing your kids up in. And when they're coming up and when you're getting ready to send them out there, know what you're sending them into, and then have that conversation with them.
And most parents become afraid of these kids. You'd be surprised how many parents is like, I'm not going out there. Stay away from the kids. My mom was the type of woman, if she felt some kind of way, she'll pull up on me, the hood, the homies, whoever's outside, guns, smokes, everybody's shooting and dumping or whatever. She'll pull up and be like, hey, you come here. You know, so she had the heart to intervene. She had the heart to jump in between me and my friends if she felt the need to. But it got to a certain point to where I was going to decide to do what I wanted to do. And all she could do at that particular time was pray for me. And that's what a lot of mothers are doing, is that they can just sit back and pray. But like what Dorothy just said, it's important to be educated on your environment, to understand what type of consequences and risks that your children are up to on a day-to-day basis. It's totally different nowadays. You know, gang banging becomes it's a facade. It's fake. You get what I'm saying? It's not even a real, none of this even started out to be anything like it is. You know, it was all started as organizations to support the community, to defend the community, to be protectors of the community.
Oh, really?
This was actually a foundation that started like the Black Panthers, to be providers for the communities, to secure the community. GDs and stuff was a growth and development organization to fully assist our brothers of the struggle with love, life, loyalty, knowledge, wisdom, and understanding. Now that we're in a culture to where we at, and the government infiltrated this and made it more toxic and put moles, like imposters in these positions to perpetuate the culture in the negative versus into the productive and positive manner. So it is a challenge to do. It can be done if you just make a decision to say, I'm cool. But it's just to finish this conversation part off, it's important for people like myself who's familiar with the culture of gang and banging and knowing who my enemies was. Now I'm in a position to where people that I felt was my rivals or people that I was in shootouts with, those are the people that now, as adult men, we shake hands with each other. We say what's up to each other. You know, I'm not trying to shoot you now. You're not trying to shoot me. We've overcome that. And this is the relationship that we got to start marketing to the kids who feel like that person is their enemy, because if they live to be 30 and 40 years old, then they'll realize that it was just a situation that we was in. It was the toxicities of the community. We're not really enemies with each other. If we live long enough, we'll see that. But most of our kids will not live long enough to see that enemy is a good friend of yours in the future.
Yeah, but you know, the funny thing is, certain kids make, I believe there's a lot of people actually want to maybe like turn to like a good people, but sometimes you get scared of how the street gonna react if you become a better person, because you already did the dirt on the street. And when you turn your back against it, do you think there is a lot of risk as well for, there's a lot of people in the same position, right? Like we kind of feel like, okay, I want to change, but maybe I don't know how people gonna react if I did a lot of dirt. So I cannot just change like that.
I'm gonna say this. I stopped gangbanging. See, this is the difference. It's two important pieces.
Yeah.
I'm a gang member. I'm always be a gang member, right?
Yeah.
I'm just not gang affiliated. I'm not an active gang member. And the reason why that is because the lifestyle that I created for myself as a teenager and the environment that I live in, I can't, like you're saying, I can't hide from that.
Yeah.
I can't go over here to Lakewood and think that I'm changed. I'm a changed person, because my name is still going to be recognized as that's Thrett from folks.
Yeah.
You know, I can't go to the hilltop just because I done made some changes with myself. People are going to still identify me as that gang member. And so me trying to defend myself from all of those different what I used to be, I don't got no energy for that. I show up as I am. People ask me questions and I'm saying, I'll let you know I'm not about that life no more. This is what I'm on. But I'm not going to ignore the fact. And that's how I can get myself caught up, by thinking that just because I've changed, people are going to accept my change. I got to enter environments still to this day as cautious as possible, because I don't know who still have a grudge from over 15, 20 years, because revenge isn't something that we can just say it is over until a person feel like it's over, right?
Yeah.
And so when I found myself at 21 years old, sentenced to 4 years, my first year in prison, and as a kid, I always wanted to go to prison since I was 8 years old, because most of my uncles was in prison, right? And so when I got the opportunity to go to prison, which is
that's crazy, yeah. This is crazy, actually. You make it sound like, that's crazy.
And that's the mindset of a lot of kids, they want to do it.
That's what your sights are set on.
Yeah, sights.
It's crazy, man.
College, get a job. I want to go to the penitentiary to see what's up. Wow. And then, so when I ended up in there, I did my first year, and in my first year, I was like, yeah, this is not for me. You know what I'm saying? I can do better. And so I was in an institution called Column Bay.
Yeah. And
so Column Bay is one of the worst prisons in the state, outside of an institution called Walla Walla. So Column Bay is the institution. I said, first thing I said was, I'm done, because my best friend had got killed. My young sister had got her head split open with a bottle. Somebody bust her head open with a pistol. You get what I'm saying? Somebody cut her face open with a razor blade. All while I'm sitting in prison. And I'm like, ain't none of my homeboys doing anything. Ain't nobody smoking and killing nobody. This organization is not for me, because if it was the tables a turn, I would have been putting in work for people that I felt was my brothers. Yeah. And so I made a sound mind decision to say, I'm done gangbanging. I'm not going to do this gangbanging stuff no more. And I got a little heat from people that was like, well, I'm sentenced to 2,000 years because of this gangster stuff. You get what I'm saying? Yeah. I'm 3 sentences because I was gang affiliated in the streets. And so for me to be doing life, and I can't change that, me having the opportunity to have a release date, and I'll change my life around. A few people felt some kind of way, but I went and talked to one person I considered an OG to me. And I say, look, bro, this is where I'm at, man. I'm changing my life, bro. I got better stuff to do. And then so from that one person telling me, he said, Thrett, as a man, I respect you, bro. I respect you. And on that note, I support you, whatever your decision is. So when I made the decision, what happens is that if you make a sound decision as an active gang member, it's important for you to go to your hood, go to your hood and tell your homeboys, look, bro, this is where I'm at right now. I'm finna do better with my life. I'm not finna start a new gang. I'm not finna move somewhere and create a new structure.
Yeah.
I'm finna get me a job. I'm finna enroll in school. I'm finna handle my business, bro. And I'm finna do that. And once you make that sound decision, the hood can respect you. They're gonna respect you for that sound decision, right? Because they're not, in actuality, they're not trying to keep you trapped in here. If you can find a way out, then a lot of them would allow you to find your way out. Even with your enemies, it's important for you to go to your enemies and say to your enemies, look, we've been beefing for a long period of time, bro. Now I'm in a position to where I'm grown, man. I came to y'all. I came to the rival neighborhood and said, look, man, I'm not banging on nobody. If y'all feel like y'all want to do something to me, then you got all access to do whatever y'all feel you need to do. But I'm not running from y'all. Made some changes in my life. And if you still claim my life or you still take my life, then I'm cool with that. But I'm telling y'all right now that don't affiliate me with this gang banging. I'm a working man. I'm a college student. And this is what I'm on right now. And if you want to know how to do that, then I'd rather partner with you and work with you on that and live my life. And you'll be surprised at how many rivals would consider to be rivals that'll say, you know what, bro? I respect your mind, homie. But if we catch you back in the streets acting like you about that life, then it's going to go down.
Oh, yeah.
It's a way out. You just can't straddle the fence. You're either going to be in it 100% or you're going to be out it completely.
Yeah, yeah. It makes sense.
And I don't dissociate myself with my friends. I still talk to my homeboys. I still communicate. I still engage. I still pull up and I still hang out with my homeboys, but they know how to respect me now, and they know what not to call on my name, and they know what not to predicaments to put me in. But I also know what comes along with the situation. If I stay around it long enough, then I get caught up in the mix again, and the cycle continues. So it's a way out. It's not the 70s and the 80s. The 70s and the 80s, the only way was to get killed. That's all it was back then.
Yeah.
Now we have options. We can make these options if we for real about it.
Oh, I mean, that's very, very, very interesting. But what happened, like, when you was locked up? Like, when you was there, was he like what you was expecting, or you was quite disappointed about the whole situation, like when you got locked up?
It was a disappointment, man.
Because I know you was excited first, because you wanted to. That was kind of your dream, or something.
Yeah, because you got to think. So when you come in and when you growing up in the community, and you see most of your homeboys, like if we woke up every day and we seen the homies on the block, they hit 17-year-old kids sitting on $250,000 cash. You get what I'm saying? How motivational is that? You get what I'm saying? They pulling up with switches on their cars. These are 17-year-old kids. These are my peers. And so we see them. We see them in a shootout. We know that they done shot so-and-so. You got friends that's been shot multiple times. They surviving and living. That seems invincible, man. So it's like, man, we can really survive. You got one homeboy that's been shot 10 times in his little from 15 to 21 years old, and he's still living. That's excitement. And so it makes a young person feel that, ooh, if I get shot, I can survive too. So now we believe that we're invincible. Yeah. We want to put ourselves in. Everybody want to be shot. Everybody want to get shot up because they see survivors from being shot up and stuff. And so when you see a friend on the streets that get locked up for triple homicide, he done smoked and killed 3 people.
Yeah.
The thing that we see is his exit strategy. We see that on the streets. He was a rider. He was a gangster. He was everything that we said we want to be. When he departed and went to the penitentiary to do his 3 life sentences, we didn't get the real scoop about what's going on behind the walls.
Yeah.
We didn't get the conversation about how bad he wanted to come home. You get what I'm saying? We just still glorifying the fact that he was the hardest person in the hood. Yeah. So when I finally got incarcerated and I sat down with these same brothers, and now with these people that we looked at as killers in the hood, we see them with tears in their eyes now. You get what I'm saying? And now with the pants sagging, they was like, hey, bro, don't come over here with your pants sagging. Don't come over here talking stupid. Pick up a book, read a dictionary, get in your Bible. This is what I'm about right now. And then I'm looking like, come on, bro, you sound like a square. And they was like, bro, you got a release date. I'm in here for life, man. So I'm trying to figure out what do I got to do to get out. So then I start to say, so it's not all the things that we thought it would be. You know, because I expected to get up in there and see, like, man, it's going down, bro. It's just for life. You know what I'm saying? We hold it. I expected to see everybody still grinding it out and putting it down. But now you got people in here following order, following roles, tightening up their rooms, standing up for formal count, answering the sergeants, yes, sir, and all these other different things. They're trying to go home. And so now I'm looking like, so it's a hoax. This whole thing was a facade. It was a joke the whole time. Yeah. So now that I get a chance to actually see brothers that are stuck and they want to get out, and now that they matured mentally, they realize that, man, there's so much that I could have done in the streets. We just didn't know better, nor did we have anybody to educate us better.
I have a question.
Yeah.
I'm thinking if you want to go to prison, like if you want that kind of a lifestyle where you have that kind of order, like you're stuck in that box and you have to follow that kind of order all day, every day. Why not just strive to go in the military?
Because for me, I felt that the military, it would have pulled me away from It would pull me away from my people. Like my family, my friends, it'd take me away. So now if I had a choice, I wouldn't want to do either one of those. I'd rather just have the discipline within myself.
But I'm saying in general, why wouldn't all these guys have that mindset to go into a structure like the military instead of a structure like the whole?
I'm gonna say because I'm gonna go back to Muhammad Ali, because that's not my war. That fight's not for me. Even though this fight's not for me either. But as me looking at the military, I've never been a military type person. I think that military, I think that it's a hoax. That's also a hoax. I look at the whole reason why people are going to war for people. It's staged, it's fake and phony. But the structure you're talking about, I just feel like the structure is already had. Like through the Black Panthers, we had structure. How come we couldn't just keep it the way that we have it without the government infiltrating and dismantling the structure?
I get that. I'm just saying, if you're being taken away from your family, you're being taken away from freedom anyway.
But they don't know that though. Nobody knows it until it happens. We don't know nobody in the streets, nobody having in their mind if they ever go into prison. Nobody even having in their mind they're gonna get killed. They having in their mind they're gonna just ball out of control, have the best life, the biggest houses and everything. They're not expecting those things.
But if you're striving for prison.
That's me. I was striving for prison.
Yeah, but there's other people that strive for prison.
But that's their mechanics. That's their makeup. They don't see no other route. They don't want structure until they get structure. I'm gonna say that.
Don't you have it in your mind what prison is though? No.
You don't have, hell no. In comparison to what you see on TV and you get up in there, hell no. The TV gonna make it seem like.
I'm just trying to understand the
TV.
I understand what you're trying to say. Yeah, it's just crazy. Like
the television makes it seem doable because on TV you can see this person in the prison movie, but then you'll see him in a comedy movie later on. So it doesn't look as horrifying or terrifying as it may appear to be.
Right.
Yeah.
But and then when you look at it, we don't know that we need structure. That's one of the biggest divides. I never knew that I need structure until I was put in a position to where I got structure.
Right. Then
I would say, okay, military probably would have been a better choice now that I'm in here.
Right.
But when you got a young person in the streets and they're like, boom, so now they putting up set. I got this much money coming in. We got this roll over here. So they feel like they got structure and they got order because they making money and they provide and they stacking dollars and they pushing and making units move. So they feel like it's all put to place. But once you get booked, incarcerated, then it's like, damn. And in reality, it made me say, I needed this. You know what I'm saying? I needed the actual structure. But now it's still a structure that was given to me and not one that I developed on my own. So when they release you from prison, you're still looking for something to give you structure again, all over again, because you never instilled it or developed it yourself. And then so me saying from there to coming back out, the structure is important. The structure was very, very important. And that's what all young men in the streets need. They just need somebody to help them get structure under themselves. But now when we on the streets and somebody give you structure, it's gang affiliated. Our government looks at it like, oh, organized crime, ex-gang member working with young gang. Now you guys are structured and educated. Oh, that's scary. You get what I'm saying? And I see why it's scary, but it's like still trying to find our way through life.
Yeah.
If that makes that.
No, of course. But the thing is, what do you think about the whole criminal justice? Do you think is like, I know like the way things work, and I think it's not helping actually, because I know there's a lot of people actually getting locked up, and then maybe the way they're actually treating people when whatever crime they actually do, maybe they're giving too much. That's the reason why people feel like they have to stay on that environment. They don't believe in the system anymore. They feel like, you know what, if I get out of the gang anyway, the government, the justice, they don't want to treat me right, I might as well just stay in this dangerous environment. Maybe, I don't know.
No, it's like that. So again, when you do your research on America is built off of enslaving, imprisoning, colonization, taking over things, conquering stuff. So when you born and bred in the country that models the fact of conquer and destroy, take, and we're gonna dominate everything, we naturally grew up that way. You get what I'm saying? So we grew up with the same psychology. We grew up with the same facts of we're gonna get it out of our government. America's is bullies. You get what I'm saying? This is one of the biggest bullies in the world. You get what I'm saying? America would say that we're going to provide opportunities for other countries and support other countries, but in actuality, the only thing that you're doing is going over here to infiltrate stuff, settle the ground, and set up your shop to say this is how we're going to operate since we out here now all of a sudden. And so when you're dealing with America, the prison industrial complex is modern day slavery, and it's still geared towards African American people. It's still a system that's built towards Black people. That's why we're the overly populated people in the prison systems. So in America, you look at the crimes. You look at the crimes in America. You can take a black man and a white man with the same points and give them the same charges, statistically showing that the black male is going to get always the higher end of the situation every single time versus the white man to get in the situation. Me and the white man get charged both. We got the same, say if we got 2 strikes and we go back out, we both committed a first-degree robbery and then a first-degree assault. I'm gonna come back in, I'm gonna get the crappy end of the stick, and the white boy's gonna get something better, a better deal than what I got. And that's designed. The whole structure is set up in a white supremacy hierarchy infrastructure. So it's when you're dealing with our government says, okay, so since we can't enslave them no more, how do we create? There's a documentary you should watch. Have you ever seen the 13th?
No. 13, no, I never.
Go watch the documentary called The 13th. It'll give you some great insight on how America works. It's on Netflix. Watch The 13th. And so when you look at that documentary, it'll break down to we still targeted. There's no real fair shot. There's no equality. There's no equity balance amongst Black Americans in America, period. So the prison systems is set in place for people like ourselves. You get what I'm saying? When we look in China, we talk about China, what they got sweat, what they call it, sweatshops in China. America's the same thing with our prison complex. We got people working full-time jobs doing slave labor for 35 cents an hour. You know, and they making mass products, chairs, sofas, couches, almost all of the furniture that goes in Targets and Walmarts.
It's the same thing actually when you think about it.
For real. So the system, and what most people say is that the system is broken. No, the system is well groomed. It's operating like it's supposed to. And it's operating in a way to keep us circling and cycling in and out. And so they got this word called recidivism. And so recidivism is when a person come out of prison, go back to prison. He come back out of prison, he's going back into prison. And you say, why is that happening? Because while he's in prison, he's not being educated. He's not being instilled with survival skills and things that prep him and build him for an opportunity to go back to the streets and survive. He's being put in prison to sit there on dead time, not learn anything that's duplicable in the community. He gained a felony. So when he's back on the streets, he can't get a proper job. He can't get proper housing. He can't get the proper assistance. And within the first 3 months of him being back on the streets, he don't have no choices. He can't keep relying on the family. So he falls right back into the same segue. And the system is set up in that way to keep a person going back in and out. You make more money in the prison system. That's why private prisons in America it's one of the biggest business in America. Prisons. Prisons and churches is 2 of the biggest economical generations of capital in America. Prisons and private prisons in general, and churches, you know what I'm saying? Because they generate the most money off of the Black communities, and they never contribute back to anything in the Black communities. And so the system works perfectly fine. We just got to figure out how do you dismantle it. And it's too many odds against a person to dismantle one thing, because if you correct this part, you still got 40, 50 other problems that you got to deal with. So it's like, how do you debunk the whole system in the whole? You get what I'm saying? And then that's a situation, a natural disaster. I just pray for a natural disaster to come and just deal with everything. That's my only option, bro, because we can't. At this point, it's too big. It's too big. It's a massive situation. And regardless on how many people come together to try to dismantle it, the system is already structurally set in place to function how it does. And the only way that, even with prison, the only way to stop a person from to back up the prison is if everybody went to trial. If everybody that's incarcerated get booked, they just go to trial, that'll cram the system in a way that it can't rehabilitate itself from that. Because when you go to trial, they scare you with the higher end to make you take a plea bargain. That's why you got so many people going to prison willingly. You sit in the courtroom and it was like, look, you can take a plea bargain for 6 years, or you can go to trial and look at 80 years. Then it was like, man, I don't want to, even if you're innocent, you be like, I ain't gonna do 80 years. I'll just take the plea bargain for 6 years. And you ride out with that. And that's sad, man. But that's how our government sets up to keep people falling back into the
I think it worked, because the thing is, people come out, they cannot have a job, they cannot do nothing in their life. They feel like useless. I mean, they have no other choice than actually go back on the street, do what they have to do as well. I think that's when you come back to actually jobs. I think job is one of the things as well actually keep people in the street, because you see a lot of people having money, but you have no option. Even there's a lot of people, as you say, they want to change their life. They want to better themselves about anything that they want to do, but they feel like the system really reject them, that just put them in one box, like you belong to this place. If you don't do this, you're not worth anything in the society. I think is one of the things as well. But when you come to, I know there's a lot of people talk about change, especially in the Black community. It's the same in Europe. The thing about America, there is more extreme the way things are working there. But even in Europe here, we still have the same discrimination as well. even if we try to hide it a little bit, black people around the world have been treated unfair. Is the same here as well. When you actually have a white person, a black person, we're never gonna have like the same, we're never gonna be treated the same way. Is the same here as well. Even the level of the gangbang is here is the same as well. But the only thing here, we get inspired more about what we do, what we see actually in America. You know, when people see that gang in LA, thing that we see in the movie, because American culture have like a massive impact around the world, especially in Europe as well, even in the UK. When we see that, like through the video, even like the music, when you see like the rap game and hip hop, the way everybody listen to it, what it's bringing is not just the music and the vibe, it's bringing the culture, and as you say, the whole thing that we see is actually fake. So that's what it's bringing as well.
It does, man.
Yeah, but
and it's all fake. That's what I'm saying.
But the funny thing about it, now you have black people, especially in America, like celebrity as well. Everybody talk about change, you know, like and injustice and all the thing they want, like the justice system to change. But at the same time, there's a small thing that we actually have control of. There's a lot of things that we cannot have control. Like when it comes to the like justice system, right? It's kind of hard for us actually to challenge, to change things. Of course, things gonna change, but there's a lot of things that we actually can change as well. As you say, when it comes to the music, the message that we actually having across, because those kids, they actually, they want to follow everything that the artists are doing. So if today the rap game or all those artists, when you see like they make me and all those people there, if they're really trying to change the way they actually present the music to the public, it's going to have a big impact, because that's where the kids actually get that, love of money and, fames and everything. What do you think? And what do you think is it actually stop? Maybe there is something stopping them to do that. Maybe when it comes to the country, like a deal, when they sign a deal, that's the reason why a lot of artists these days, they're trying to be like independent. Maybe when you're trying to sign a deal, they want you to stick to this type of street music. I don't know. You think there's something?
I'm going to say this.
Yeah.
I'm going to say this to that part. One of the crucial pieces would be, that's not going to happen. When you got these artists, because you got an industry that says, we will pay you the money that we pay you if you keep talking about the stuff that you're talking about, right?
Yeah.
So the only way you see artists, and then when you start to look at it really in reality, they don't own the houses, they don't own the cars, they don't own the jewelry. All of the money that you see them stacking up and holding up, it's all advance money that they're going to have to pay back, which they'll never pay it back. As soon as the industry is done with them, then they're just done with them, and they're going to put them on the shelf and show that they never had anything from the jump. But then when you start dealing with people like Prince and you start dealing with people like Michael Jackson that are in a situation of the industry that start speaking truth, you can tell what the outcome could potentially be. You start talking truth about the hand that's so-called feeding you, then we got a place to put you. All the prolific leaders in the entertainment industry that are influencers, celebrities, athletes, all of these people have the position to say, I can tell y'all what the truth is. And the truth is not what people perceive it to be. It's all deception. It's all lies. All my music that I'm doing for you guys is a facade. I'm an actual slave to this industry. Nothing that I have I own. They can take it whenever they want to. They empower, they take everything that operates. And so to get one of those celebrities to change up their structure, the majority of them is not going to do it, because they know, for one, it'll probably cost them their life. For two, it'll destabilize the lifestyle that they created for their family. And then it's hard for new and upcoming artists to start speaking more, more conscious music, because the conscious music speaks about truth. It speaks that if you work hard, you can get paid a good job, you can save your money right, you can stack enough dollars to be successful and have a pretty good life. But that's not glorifying. It's not glamorous enough for a person to compete against a person with a bunch of jewelry on his neck, which is fake in a music video. But the kids they're not hearing me or you or Dorothy say all of the jewelry is fake. They're gonna look at us like, you're just mad because you don't got the jewelry on. And then so you get them in front of those artists, and then you can't expose them. So one of the things that I know is important for me, and one of the biggest things, me and Dorothy, we created another podcast called Phony Balonies, right?
Okay,
So Phony Balonies is how we finna just take artists individually. So your favorite artist, we finna take him and we finna dissect him and show you how fake he is. We're gonna show you that this artist that talks about mollies, he don't pop mollies. He's never smoked weed. He doesn't go out to the clubs like he portraying his music. And he's deceiving you to make you do the same thing he say he does. His kids are in college. Most of your artists like Lil Wayne. People like Lil Wayne because he's all leaned out, he's served this and he's whatever the case, but Wayne's highly educated. He has a degree, but they're not promoting that. So if you want to be anything like Lil Wayne, how come you're not in school? Because Lil Wayne's not telling him to go to school. When you listen to rappers like Young Jeezy, Young Jeezy is the biggest trap rapper in Atlanta. But Young Jeezy's son got a full ride scholarship to Nevada University. You get what I'm saying? But he's not saying that. He's not telling people that they live in the suburbs now. And half of the things that they're doing in their music, they never had that lifestyle in the beginning to jump with. And so now when you take artists like Lil Uzi Vert, Uzi Vert is his most popular, he's a popular artist now. But let's go back to where Lil Uzi Vert was before he got his record deal. He was working at a convenience store, riding skateboards with a bunch of pot smoking white boys and stuff. You get what I'm saying? But now when you look at them, they glorify this facade of this given lifestyle. So it's hard to compete against that unless you start exposing them. And then people like myself and anybody on this level with us, we got to show a young person that we can still live the best lives if we manage our money, budget our money right, socialize with people that are on the same level with us, invest into each other's, create financial pots. So that if we got $40,000, it's because me, you, and Dorothy decided to save enough of our money to invest into something. So if we can show them that small investments as a collective unit could generate the same things as you want, until we start showing kids that if you want to live like most of these rappers, how could you make $3,000 a month, get you a decent job, or position yourself with a career that'll give you this type of revenue in on a monthly basis? You can have the house, you build your credit up, you can get these things. You don't have to have millions of dollars to have the plushed out lifestyle. You just got to create a scenario and a lifestyle that'll provide that for you without having to do the most of it. You get what I'm saying?
Glorify the education you had behind the scenes they never told you.
This is really deep, what you guys. This is deep because like you actually go back to Prince and Michael Jackson as well, because I never see that at that, because when you talk about those rappers, I know like they're enslaved, but I never see that to the degree of, I think they're just being used to, because what they're doing is actually, because they look like us and then we just love it, and we don't really trying to look over what is going on right now, because maybe they look like us, they come from the same neighborhood as well. They used to be poor, they used to be in a gangbang, and now they're making a lot of money. When you see people like Jay-Z, make meal, they used to be like selling drug, and now they have a lot of money, and then people on the street today, when they see them, they believe everything that they're actually saying. And at the same time, people like Michael Jackson, Prince, they was actually able to, for them, the level was different. It was more in terms of awareness, but it was not like just in a small thing. It was more like in a business wide. They was buying a lot of stuff to have a lot of money to invest in the community as well. It was like a bigger picture. But what is happening today with those rappers? The thing is, there are only few people like Prince and Michael Jackson, but those rappers, they have like thousands of rappers around the world, and then what they're doing is like they are like little virus, like everywhere. They just like, keep like just giving the thing to everybody, and it's very sad, like as you say, the only thing we can do us as people, just like to make sure everything starts from your house, and you actually bring it down to your neighborhood as well, and to change things. And I know that was a very good conversation. We're gonna move to the second part.
Let me say three things real quick.
Yeah, go on.
Let me say three things.
Yeah, go on. It's all you, man. Because I don't want him to stay like that. Yeah, go on.
I'm gonna take these two people because you brought up a couple names.
Yeah.
So when you look at a person like Jay-Z, Jay-Z is a complete sellout for his people because he bought into the money, right?
Yeah.
He bought into the win of the upper echelons and the elite people. So he's gonna sell all of his people short. He's not gonna tell the truth about anything that's going on in the industry because he want to keep that plateau.
Yeah.
When you look at people like Meek Mills, Meek Mills jumped in the game, and Meek Mills got young people convinced that if you hustle hard, you can get these things that he's doing right now.
Yeah.
But if you go to Meek Mills before he became a rapper, Meek Mill was the scrubby little kid in the hood that's probably had a couple little crack rocks in his pocket, probably a couple little pebbles, hustling little nickel bags of weed here and there. And then when he got a record deal, he made it seem as if the hustle that he was doing in the streets equivalent to the life he got as an entertainer. Yeah. He's not telling the kid that I didn't hustle and push bricks and dope like this to get the jewelry and the money and the riding in the Maybach. Yeah. I just survived in the hood long enough to get a record deal. And so when I got the record deal, that's how I got here. But you convincing kids that if they hustle hard, they can get the stuff that you have, which is fake. When you take Rick Ross, which is the person that signed Meek Mills, when you take Rick Ross was a correctional officer that actually worked in the police, and we worked in the prisons. Yeah. So when you got a person like Rick Ross that worked in prison, he just know how to write music, but then he comes out talking about some in Miami, how he's getting it out the port of Miami.
That's crazy.
He's some guru dope dealer. And it's like, bro, you never pushed a pebble in your life, but you got a record deal, and now you glorifying the pushing of cocaine, and you glorifying the mass production of dope. You glorifying this lifestyle that you have, but you've never lived it a day in your life. You were an imposter, and anybody that's real in the hood should be trying to have it their heads. If we want to gangbang, we should be snatching those cats up, because this culture of gangbanging is not something that anybody want to be a part of, even the people that's in it. Yeah. Everybody that I know that's in it, they want a way out of it, bro. But these people that are doing it on a larger level is because they're being paid to produce this lifestyle and this culture. Most of them rappers that talk greasy like they do, Ice Cubes and NWA, Ice Cube was the type of kid that had to be home before the street lights came on. But when you see niggas with an attitude in NWA, you think that Dr. Dre and them was the truth. Dr. Dre was a part of a little disco group. You get what I'm saying? These people wasn't real gangsters in the streets, but they portray the music. When NWA hit the streets in the 90s, drive-by shootings hit the roof because of the drugs that they consuming and the music that they listen to. It entices you. It gives you this illusion that this is what we're supposed to be doing. But the people that's promoting and producing it don't even come close to doing it, and they keep all of their kids as far away from that stuff as possible. So why do you produce it to our community? Why do you produce this poison to our kids? And how come ain't nobody checking y'all when they get around you? I don't want to get around these celebrities who want to autograph. I want to get around y'all and check y'all so that people know that y'all are cowards for real. So when you get to getting that applied pressure on you for real, then you're going to start changing your story. I think that these rappers that are in those positions, they need to be honest with themselves and say, I'm not really about this life. Keep it 100%. And I don't want to get myself hurt. So you guys should stop doing this. Actually, I'm going to just stop doing gangster rap. Because gangster rap is a poison to the community. Hip hop is real. Hip hop is real. Gangster rap, psychological warfare on the black community. Bottom line.
I mean,
that's my spiel on it.
Yeah, I actually agree with you, because the thing is, as you say, people like Meek Mill and all the rapper, they say to, like, nah, Meek, I know he went to jail and everything that happened in his life. They he trying to be like Jay-Z now. You want to be a boss and then trying to have like people see him more like, you know, you want to save things, like, you know, help people to get out of jail and everything. But it's not really, as you say, they're trying to use the term hustle just to try to play with kids' mind, to twist, like, you know what, if you hustle hard, you're actually going to get where you want to get. They don't tell, like, this is what you have to do, or you shouldn't do that, you shouldn't touch a drug, you shouldn't kill each other. They don't talk about those things. They're just going to say, look, as you say, I've been working on the street for so long and hustle so hard, and I got my record deal, and now I'm actually a big artist. But it's like, that mean, to another way, is another way to actually tell to those kids, stay on the street, do what you have to do drugs as many as you can, keep doing your music, and one day just trying to find a record deal and you're gonna make it. He's not really asking them to come out. And as you say, you know, when Nipsey Hussle, when he got killed, that was the thing as well. And the way people was talking about it, like, people are so hypocrite. Even like people like what do you think about the whole thing? What happened with, like, you know, Nipsey?
See, Nipsey, that's a real situation, because she's showing you what we supposed to really be doing.
Yeah.
Nipsey Hussle was like, look, bro, this is I'm in it. This is where we at. You know what I'm saying? So I'm not going to just disown my people, but we need to be doing better for each other and with each other. You see Nipsey Hussle not promoting gang violence. He was working with YG, which is a blood from California. So he's showing the collaborative of relationships. Now, when you got a government that's like, oh, we cannot afford for the Bloods and the Crips to unite as a unit, to talk about power infrastructures within the communities and economical structure, educating in general, putting kids through college and putting kids through schools. We don't want none of that. You get what I'm saying? And so Nipsey Hussle he's a prime example of young people, black men that get a position to do it right. We would kill you. The government will tell you, we will lay you down before we allow you to develop and build your people up economically, educationally, with any opportunity of structure. We would lay your ass down so that everybody know that we still lay people down that want to stand up and do right. I believe that Nipsey Hussle's death, his departure, it would be in vain if gangs didn't come together. It would be in vain if these fake rappers in the industry didn't get checked like they should be. It'd be in vain because you got people like T.I. All of these cats is cowards, bro. I'm keeping it 100 with you. These cats is coward and they poison to our own people. You know, it doesn't make sense to say, oh, we're going to do a community barbecue and we're going to do a community, give you some college degrees, but then go to the studio and just pump toxic stuff.
That's the thing.
How
about
this?
That's the thing.
You know what I'm saying?
But that's how they keep the money. Yeah. In reality, it's not about the money. They don't. I think that's the business, and I think that's how they keep the money. You know, like, it's just crazy, man. Like, I really hope things gonna change, but is we need like I think we need strong people. We need like that's why people like Michael Jackson, Prince. Actually, do you think there is okay between you and me? Do you think there is somebody today like in a rap game who is really like able to do that job, like the one Prince, Michael Jackson was doing, or anybody like in Hollywood today, who is actually willing to do that, or it's just gonna be like people like yourself and others that are on the street you're trying to educate people? Do you think there's like somebody out there or any leader is really working hard for to kind of wake people and to break the system?
We were just talking about that the other day. If there was anybody out there that's willing to be a martyr like Michael and Prince,
yeah,
and artists before them, and right now, no, there's nobody doing it right now.
it's crazy.
And like you were saying with artists that are out there telling people that you need to get your hustle on, you need to and promoting like getting a record deal and all that. That's the thing. That's where they fall short when it comes to, especially with Prince. He was so out there about artist rights and the record industry, and well, Michael too, when it came to the record industry. So they're not telling you the ins and outs of the industry. They're not educating our artists, up and coming artists, about the ins and outs of those record deals. They're telling you how to hustle, or that you need to hustle, and they're telling you that you should go and get the record deal, but they're not telling you how you're going to get screwed when you get that deal. And they're not telling you how you should pay attention to the deals and pay attention to the small print. Make sure that it's in your favor when you sign that contract. If you're going to get the deal, make sure that you're not signing away everything. Use it to your favor. They're not educating you like those guys did.
They don't even read the contract. They just sign the gig.
They sign it because they're looking at the dollar signs, but they're not looking at the small print that's saying you're not going to get those dollar signs in your pocket unless you give us everything. It's basically you're screwed once you sign that contract. If you don't give them everything that they're asking for, which is a lot more than what
your life, if you don't give them your life,
then so there's nobody out there right now that's doing that, that's educating the artists like they did, and there's nobody that's standing up for not only artist rights but community rights and just
but the funny part about it, when you see like somebody like Michael Jackson, or when he was talking about like buying like other people catalog, or Prince about controlling his music, the reason why Prince wanted to control his music is not just about like the money he wanted to get, but he wanted to control his content and the whole thing, when you control your music, when you actually produce your own music, everything is just done by you. Whatever you actually releasing out there is something that you believe, and nobody really gonna tell you this is how I want the music to be. That's the kind of freedom that you wanted. And the fact he was such a big artist, and if he was able to do something and people to follow him as well, that's the reason why they didn't kind of like it. But what is happening today, people trying to use those kind of example, like, oh, Prince was a good guy, MJ was a good guy. That's the reason why I don't want to work for another label. I want to create my own label. It's kind of trading right now. Everybody want to do it now, all those rapper. But the thing is, they're doing, some of them, they have their own, record deal. But the thing is, the content's still the same. So I think because in the mind is a mindset, I think the education is not there. For them is more controlling my money, not really like what I'm putting out there. I think that's what they're doing right now, because I have a lot of, it doesn't make any sense. Oh, go on. Yeah.
Because they'll tell you now, because I had an opportunity for 2 record deals.
Yeah.
My first record deal was for $150,000. I didn't sign. And then my second record deal for $1.5 million. And I didn't sign. I didn't sign not because of the people I didn't trust. I just understand the industry and how it works. I didn't want to sign on the dotted line for anybody, because I realized that, once you sign on the dotted line, then you lose all of that creative control. You lose all of yourself, because when you're dealing with most people, most of the artists that they sign out are fairly young. And when you got a young person coming into the industry that comes from marginalized population, broken down families, mom's is probably a crackhead, dad's dead, brother's gone, whatever the case may be. And then you got a record company saying, here's a check for $250,000. Here's a contract. And the kid is like, look, I don't care what's in the paper. They instantly look at the money. And then what they say to themselves is that, I can't do conscious music because conscious music is not going to get me paid.
Yeah.
So I gotta say what the people want, but it's like, no, give the people what, like Prince said in his song. You know,
why are you giving people what they want when you ought to give them what they need?
What they need, and they need to be restructured and reconfirmed that we can live a thorough life if we play the game right. If you work hard, you can live a good life. You get what I'm saying? It's not complicated. Build your credit. Do a track about building credit. You get what I'm saying? Get your credit scores up.
Yeah, for real.
How do you do that?
That's where the artists are missing the point. It's more than about the money. It's more than about the fame. That's all they see.
That's all they see.
And so the mindset, it's just like millennials. They're so stuck on social media and TikTok and all this little stuff that they're not seeing past that. That we're not seeing anybody out there, young folks, that are really mindful of putting real content out there. Social media, folks, it's all about short messages and not even real messages with real content. It's all about just short bursts of entertainment. Because nobody's attention span is more than 2 seconds.
And nobody want to deal with all that.
And nobody wants anything that's going to be heartfelt. Nobody wants anything that's going to be real serious, because we don't want that. We want something that's going to entertain us. For 2 seconds. That's it.
And I'm good.
I don't want nothing that's going to take up too much of my time. I don't want to read it. I want a video, So that's where entertainment is right now. So for somebody to come out like Prince or Michael, that's going to put a message out there that you actually have to engage in and really think about, I think it's too much for people.
It is too much
to really
to do right.
It's like too much. It's too much effort.
Too much
for
to lose
the audience. It's too much for the audience, and it's too much for the entertainer to like
be spoken about responsibilities.
It's like too much responsibility on their part, and they feel like they're not going to get the audience that they want and get paid. And I think that's kind of where things are at. So it's unfortunate.
The only people today who can actually change it, the people are, they don't really do that. The people are really on the top already. Like people who are really respected, like in the rap game, like people like Jay-Z and all those, Snoop, whatever. If those people they decide to make the real change, they come out there trying to put their life on the line. Well, of course, you have to be willing to do that, to lose everything, like MJ and Prince did. And that way, things might work. But money
will.
They talk about money so much. That's the thing, like everything about them is just money. So for them, like losing money is like there's not even no purpose in their life anymore. It's something like MJ or Prince. They didn't have ever. They didn't. There was the people they didn't even want to talk about the money, because money is, you're just like, people already know they have money, like real money, and I think that's the issue today. And it's just crazy. I think that's where they got black people. I think. They give us because the way we talk about, we own the rap game, we own the hip hop, we own this. I think I kind of feel like they let us have it. We control everything, and the impact is that the rap game or whatever, rap. What are you calling again? Those hip hop and rap game or whatever it is. So the impact that they have around the world. The fact is, us black people, we are proud of it, right? We rap. The music. Everybody, white people listen to our music, whatever. They let us have it. It's so huge that around the world, people actually, they actually mess with our music. The thing is, at the same time, the fact we are the one who listen to that the most is like a virus going to every single house and touching, everybody, and then just like creating like a victim everywhere. You know what I mean? The guy doesn't have to. You don't have to live in America. You can live in Africa, in France, whatever, in England. The fact you just enjoy the music, you see those people, you just want to be like them. I think that's like it's worse. It's worse than actually watching TV. Just like, you can say I don't want to watch TV, but you still listen to the music and you still follow those guys. That's crazy actually when you think about it. But do you think we should tell the kids to stop listening to the music? You think that's the solution? Or I don't know if you have any kids, but would you say to your kids to listen to music, to rap music?
I would. I tell them all the time. I say, man, because I don't listen to it.
I don't either.
I put some instrumentals on and bump some Sade, bro. I'm I'm on that. And I got some young cats that I work with right now that I listen to their music because I don't cuss them. I don't like, I do music myself, but I don't cuss them music. I don't promote violence or any of that. Now, time to get down, I'm gonna get down. You know what I'm saying? If I'm gonna put in some work, I'm gonna put in some work, regardless of what anybody's talking about, rapper or non-rapping. If it's time to defend somebody, protect somebody that I care about, I'll shut this whole block down. I'll shut the whole city down if that's what we're gonna do. But until then, I'm about productivity and positive. I think that we're in a position right now to where we need to get as close to those people that are in those positions to promote this garbage. We need to get to them and check them. We put them in a stronghold and put them in a chokehold and let them know you're either going to correct your stuff, bro, or you're going to get out of alignment. Because again, it's just like the government. We the people give these people power. You get what I'm saying? So you look at the average rapper, they're not going to tell you that, oh, the reason why I got millions and millions of dollars, which they don't, but the reason why I got millions of dollars is because y'all come to my shows. If you didn't come to my shows, I'd be just like y'all. So we empower these people. You get what I'm saying? We're the reasons why you guys are able to live that. And if you want to live like these people are living, then invest into yourself like you investing into them. You get what I'm saying? But most people don't want to do that. Jordans, athletes, all of them. You want to spend all your money on Jordans when you could just wear something different and save the money to live the lifestyle that you want. You get what I'm saying? So I do believe in censoring music. I do believe that rap music is a virus. It's no different than the COVID virus.
It's actually worse because you're gonna stay forever. That's the thing about rap.
Yeah, COVID-19 don't have nothing on rap music, bro, at
for
all.
For real.
It's killing people at a higher rate than what COVID virus is doing.
It's true. It's
a fact. Like you say, they come in your house like a virus and it infects your kids. And you got women who don't like to be treated like crap, but you'll sit up here and listen to this crap talking dude, and you got your 3-year-old daughter shaking it and throwing it up on the dang on couch and singing it word for word verbatim. So she's believing that this is what's supposed to be like.
And as not only black folks,
right?
But especially black folks,
yep,
we allow that to happen.
We condone it.
Yeah.
And we think it's
and because it gives us ownership, like you just said.
Yeah.
Well, we own this.
Yeah, we really feel proud about it. Like you see, like, you know, we control it. Like there's nobody can do like us. Like, you know, we got it unlocked and everything. But once
we start doing it right, then we realize that we don't really have the control over that we thought we did.
Right.
Yeah.
Once we start using that platform to speak truth, then we realize, oh, well, damn, like Prince said, it's an illusion.
Yeah.
You never had a voice in the beginning anyway. As long as you're talking crap, you can glorify it as much as y'all want. But as soon as you start waking your people up from these platforms, then we're going to narrow that down and say, no. So it's up to us as the outsiders to not condone it. I don't believe in bumping the music. I don't pull up slapping and slumping the music. I don't support these rappers. I'd rather fight them all, honestly. I'd rather be some type of natural disaster on every single one of these toxic rappers. I really do. You know, you put me in a room with every single one of them, bro. I'm scrapping. I beat up every single one of them at the same time. It's a Royal Rumble. That's what I feel, bro.
Yeah, I think you have to come to that. The music have to change because I know there's a lot of people who try to change things, like people like Kobe Bryant, where his message was good, you know, things he used to talk about, you know, making people read and work or whatever. But the thing is, he's a basketball player. The only people gonna follow whatever he's saying is actually people that watch basketball or whatever, they support him, based on what he was doing. When it comes to rap music, is different because the impact is so big. It's actually, when you think about it right now, it's bigger than what we actually can imagine. It's
an addiction.
Yeah. And then every day you have new rappers. You can't refuse to listen to one person, but the other one gonna have the same lyrics. It just keep going, and then, you know, there is no hand actually, and that's, I mean, when you talk to people, I think it make more difference because you've been on the street, you did what you did. Do you think these people actually believe you more when you talk to them, like young people today, especially the one who actually knew on the street? Because I know there's a lot of ego. They be like, you know what, they knew they want to show, like they want to have the name out there as well.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. So with my youth program, like when I work with the youth in the community, I keep it 100 with them. You know what I'm saying? I'm not one of these squares, you know, because most of these brothers that, especially black men that don't come from the same cloth that these kids are cut from, with the culture that the kids are addicted to or they submit to. You got a person that come in there with their blazer, their sports coat on, and talk about college, and the kids would be like, man, bro, ain't nobody trying to hear that. You a square. But when the kids realize that, especially when they get to talking amongst their friends, like if the kids gonna ask, hey mom, you know Thrett, dad, you know Thrett? And they be like, oh heck yeah, Thrett, that's my guy. So when the parents would vouch for me, and the parents would be like, oh yeah, back in the day, that dude, he was something different. And so when the kids hear that and they come back to me at a program and be like, my dad said he knows you. I was like, well, all right, so what did your dad say about me? He's like, man, my dad said that you was about that life. And, you know, and I was like, all right, boom. So that's what I was. So now that you know what's up, what are we doing right now, though?
Yeah.
You trying to keep me out of trouble? Yeah, bro, I'm trying to keep you out of trouble. Because now I'm to the point to where if I pour truth into you, I don't, because the thing that I learned through this organization in San Francisco called Alive and Free, one of the things that I've done, I used to just go and tell my story to youth and be like, hey, don't get into no drama, don't get into no gangbanging, it's not the life for you. But I never produced anything to make them believe that it's not the right thing to do. Most people that come through as motivational speakers, they'll come through and say, you don't want this lifestyle. And then the kids say, well, what are you doing right now? Well, I'm just surviving. So now I come to the young people and I say, look, man, shake the game, bro. Because now I done lost too many friends in it for me to have any type of remorse for a kid to get killed then and when they get killed. I'm numb to that. And it's sad to say to a degree, but I'm numb to killings and murders as young kids. Young kid got killed over here and kids are getting killed left and right. And I'm like, well, dang, I grew up watching that happen all the time. So now that we're in the element, if a young person want to save their lives, and I'm like, boom, if you sit down and listen to brothers like myself, and there's others like me that promote change, but I have to demonstrate that first. They have to, one, believe that I understand and know where I come from. So we got to be relatable. They got to realize that I've walked in the shoes that they're walking in right now. And they got to see that I've made some actual changes. And then when they ask about my name in the streets, my name ring bells on the positive, because you can go back to the hood and say, hey, you know Thrett? And they be like, oh yeah, that's Square. He's a buster. You know what I'm saying? Or he's a coward or anything. And the kids will come back and have no respect for me. But when they go in and ask the questions and nobody that you talk to can say anything bad about me, nobody that you talk to downgrade my name in any level, then it'll make the kids come back to me and be like, hey, bro, hey, you real, huh, Thrett? I'm like, man, we real, bro. What is we finna do? So me having a relationship and a relatability with the kids, that helps a lot. But it's not enough people like me that's willing to go and talk to the kids. You know, we got to get my homeboys and other men in the country or even in the world, period. If you've been part of gang culture and you've been shot multiple times, what ends up happening is that when you sit with a group of kids, you say, man, I've been shot here, G, I got hit here. They shot me in my neck. They hit me in my back 3 times. You get what I'm saying? Man, it's not the life that you want. But the kids is looking at it like, what's the problem? I see that you're here. Or you got friends, I got homeboys that just got out from doing 25 years in prison. When you see them getting out from doing 25 years in prison as a kid, you see them with nice watches. They pulling up in Chargers. They got a nice piece of money in their bank account. They got a beautiful wife or a girlfriend. Then the kids will be like, well, what's wrong with 25 years? If this is what the homie look like after 25 years, then I don't see a problem with doing 25 until you get up in there and do 25. And so now to the point to where we got to say, tell them what's happening with those gunshot wounds. Oh, this, bro, at night, whenever night hits, these things, they ache. I got to take these many pills. I got hit in the stomach 3 times. I got to take pills to help my digestive system. If I don't take these pills, then my stomach can explode. I got colostomy bags, if I said it right. I got colostomy bags. I got a crap bag or a piss bag on me that I don't ever show the homies because I keep my shirt tucked down and there's baggy shirts on me. You get what I'm saying? Yeah. I got arthritis when I got shot on my hand. I got to keep hand exercise, or I wake up in the middle of the night crying as a grown man from these holes in my hands cramping up. Tell that story to the kids so that they know I got to avoid being shot by all means. I got to avoid going to prison, because while you're in prison, you got to share the truth about what happens in prison. This ain't the 60s and 70s. In the 60s and 70s, people will violate you. 60s and 70s, they'll rape you in the penitentiary. Right now, you don't have to really worry about nobody violating you or taking your manhood in the penitentiary, because there's too many willing participants on the inside of the institution. The only thing that you got to be worried about is, can you make it out of here alive? How much stuff kicks up in the atmosphere to where you realize that you're not a killer like you thought you was. Once you're sitting around a group of killers that's in it for convicted for murder for real, then your whole correlation defines a different person. And so I believe that it's a way to transition out. So my relatability to the lifestyle is one of the most important ingredients that I can ever bring to the table as experience. That helps the kids feel like I know what I'm talking about and they want to listen to me.
I mean, that's good. I mean, I really appreciate, man, what you're doing, because the thing is, that's your area. You come from that, and whatever you're saying today actually makes sense. All people there are actually gonna follow whatever advice you're actually giving today. Before we actually go to the next subject, so what do you want to say before we actually move to the next subject? Any advice that you want to give to people? Like, as I say, we talked about parent, that actually struggle to, especially those who have boys, they actually struggle, they're scared of the future of the kid. They don't know what to do. Some same parent actually trying to move a city to whatever. They just confuse. The same parent, they actually scared, as you say, to talk to their own kids as well, because they don't know what they're actually sending them. So what can you say actually to those people?
I would say one of the best things and the most scariest things that my mom did for me as a kid at 6 years old. When I started to get to the point where I didn't want to abide by her rules and I feel like I was a grown man and she couldn't hold me, she can't lock me up in the house and imprison me in the house. I'm going to go outside and do what I want to do anyway at that particular time. So my mother said, boom, okay, if this is what you feel like you want to do, because I can't keep chasing you, son. I can't keep running up behind you. All I can do is say, I wish you stay at home. I wish you just go to school and handle your business and do what you're supposed to be doing. But if you decide to walk out that door because you feel like that's the best opportunity for you, all I can do at this particular time is pray for you. So I tell any parent, just prepare yourself. If you have a child that's living like that, prepare yourself for your child to make their own decisions in their own minds at an early age. You can't save them all. And just because they're your kid don't mean that they're going to survive. So I deal with reality. You get what I'm saying? I'm a realistic person when it comes to this culture. Your kids are faced with different demons than what you can possibly even imagine. You know, your kids is hanging with friends that they just watched their friend kill somebody. You get what I'm saying? So your kids is hanging with people that he can't come in the house and hear you complaining about your bills when he just sat with one of his OG homeboys who said, here, count that for me. And at 13 years old, he's counting $50,000. So you can't tell him that it's not beneficial in these streets working and hustling out here because he's counting. He's actually seeing, Mom, you keep telling me it's not out here, but I just literally counted $50,000 for my homeboy. And he told me that if I just stay connected to the game, then I can have the same things he having. So I think that we need to be realistic when it comes to this culture. I believe that if your child is in your facility or your space, allow your kid to truth. Be real with them. Be mindful of the company that you're keeping around your young, especially your sons. If your boyfriend is not about nothing, don't incorporate him, especially don't incorporate him around your women. Because if he's a piece of crap, then your daughters are going to believe that they're supposed to be engaged with pieces of crap. To any adult male that comes from this culture, it's your responsibility as an adult male, as a grown man, it's your responsibility to interfere with that young man's path. You're supposed to jump up. Most people nowadays that are older, they're afraid to mess with young people because they feel like if I say something to that young kid, these kids will kill me. And they might kill you if you try to interfere, but they're worth it. And you should want to do something about it because they're only doing what they stem from you and us doing when we was growing up. So it's our responsibility as men that come from that culture to do our best to curb that relationship. And if you feel like you cannot raise your child, do not be opposed or too prideful to allow somebody else to engage with your child. Most dads that I know to this day, bro, can't get a hold of their children or their sons. So if you can't control your son, bro, and if I can, allow me to come up in there and don't be like, man, that's my son. Okay, well, your son's gonna get killed if you don't talk to the right people. So allow other outside sources to get engaged, but just be mindful of the company that they're bringing into the table.
You say it takes a village anyway.
Anyways, man, so work with your village if you have one.
That's the old school mentality, especially with the Black community.
For real.
It is they, you know, it was the grandparents, the aunts, the uncles, it took the whole family in the community to do what they had to do. To step in, you know, the whole neighborhood was watching out for your kids.
Yeah.
So, you know,
we need that same structure back.
You need that structure to make sure that these kids are doing what they got to do. Make sure that when they're outside in the streets playing and doing, you know, running around the neighborhood, keep an eye on the kids.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, you can't trust people like that anymore.
Yeah, because all these weirdos.
You know, but make sure that the people that you can trust are keeping an eye out for your kids when
and stop being afraid of them, because the kids want somebody to check them, bro. They really do. They love structure. They love order. But if you're too afraid to give it to them, then they're gonna smell it. They're gonna sense it in you, and they're gonna run all over you. But because I tell a kid, quick, look, bro, the worst they do to me is shoot me, kill me, put a hole in my head, bro. I don't care about none of that. What you finna do is you finna chill out, sit down somewhere, and get your mind together. And they be like, man, you know what, man? All right, man, whatever, bro. And they sit down somewhere, bro. I don't talk at them. I talk with them. I just keep it 100. You can get out there and get smoked if you want to. I done lost friends, bro, just like y'all done lost friends. So if y'all want to keep losing each other, then by all means, handle your business, bro. I'm not gonna lose no sleep. I'll step over your dead body to work at your friend who want to make his life different because he seen you get killed. So either way it goes, somebody's going to make a change in here.
You got to be consistent.
You have to be in consistency. Yeah.
Consistency, and you start disciplining that consistency young, because if they don't see that there's that structure early, you know, once they get into those preteen years, especially boys, man,
it becomes more than a thought.
And if it's a one parent household and it's a single mother, then they'll start to walk all over.
Yeah, and you're gonna do what you want to do. So
step
up to the plate.
Yo, man, that was very I mean, you guys, that was dope, man. That was very interesting, man.